Good evening. My name is Dennis Ryan. It's my pleasure to share the financial status of Menard Electric Cooperative with you. Feel free to follow along in your annual meeting notice as I touch on the high points printed on pages 4 through 6. Let's talk numbers. Please draw your attention to the stats on page 6. Menard Electric used and sold to its members just under 193 million kilowatt hours in 2021. This represents a 3.3% decrease from 2020 sales and a 7.5% decrease from pre-pandemic 2019 sales. This significant reduction is solely a result of the limited operations at the ICG coal mine in Elkhart. Despite the reduction in sales volume, Menard Electric's total revenues came in at $29.2 million, actually 1.7% ahead of 2020 revenues during the pandemic. As a not-for-profit organization, we work closely within our budget to provide you the services you deserve while keeping rates stable. As you can see from the pie chart at the bottom of page 5, our largest expense continues to be wholesale power costs, which represents 60.5 cents of each dollar you spent in 2021. In turn, 37.2 cents of each dollar covered a variety of expenses including labor, billing and collections, insurance and safety, debt service and depreciation, line maintenance and vegetation management. The remaining 2.3 cents provided your cooperative a stable operating margin to meet our lenders' covenants. Moving on to our greatest strength. We are proud of our 30 employees who work hard to provide you with the safe and reliable service you need. Looking at the comparative stats on page 6. During 2021, they monitored and maintained almost 2,400 miles of distribution lines, which provide energy to almost 11,000 active services. Doing the math, that means your cooperative averaged 4.6 services per mile of line. In contrast, investor-owned utilities average over 34 customers per mile of line, and municipal electric systems over 66 customers per mile, which means those utility models have many more consumers per mile in which to spread fixed costs. While this low density does lead to a higher fixed facility charge for each metered service, the co-op continues to deliver stable energy rates. Local energy news stories have been predominantly about increases to energy rates for consumers served by investor-owned and aggregate retail electricity providers. As a reminder, your cooperative is a member of Prairie Power, a not-for-profit power provider which serves our members' energy needs. Together, we have invested in a diverse mix of generation resources, and we actively hedge our positions by participation in the structured energy markets. Not beholden to stakeholder profits, your co-op is an owner of this power provider, meaning you, the members, are the end user owners. Menard Electric buys and delivers the energy you need to meet life's demands while striving to keep all other expenses low. Any monies remaining at the end of the year represent our margins. Looking back to page 5, total margins at the end of last year totaled just under $2.8 million. Of this amount, $1.1 million represents capital credits allocated to us from Prairie Power. An additional amount of capital credits, almost $162,000, was allocated to Menard Electric from other cooperative business owners. Just like our members, Menard Electric will receive those capital credits retirements at a later date. The 2021 operating margin of almost $659,000 is the result of stable local operations at the cooperative. Because we are an electric cooperative, we assign these margins back to you in the form of capital credits. Looking back to the stats table on page 6, notice the bottom row. We have retired over $12.8 million in capital credits to our members to date. During 2021, over $947,000 in capital credits was returned to estates and members who received service in 1996 97, and 98. We prioritize returning this patronage to you by being one of the most aggressive cooperatives in Illinois doing so. Many of you recently received your share of the $1 million in capital credits that was returned to members who received services back in 1999 and part of 2000. Wrapping up with equity, we never forget that you, the members, are the owners of the cooperative. Looking at the balance sheet on page 4, at the end of 2021, your total members' equity was almost $32.5 million, meaning you own 42.7% of the co-op's total assets. I want to personally thank you for the opportunity to represent you on the Menard Electric Board. Thank you for your attention. This concludes my Treasurer's report.